What up, though? Damn, I might put the wrong time in there. I hope JK sleep. I saw he was up. I saw he was up early as hell. Let me text his ass. Yeah, let me text his ass. My phone, man. Who got Jake number? Wake his ass up. Matter of fact, let me call him. I'll be saving people numbers, man. Who got Jake number? Oh, here he is, finally strolling in here. Finally strolling in here.
Bad. The notification never popped up on my phone, man. I'm sorry.
Uh, uh,
Not that I'm entirely awake anyway.
yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I seen you was up early as hell this morning.
I don't even know if I went to sleep, man. So I was up till about a little past midnight. I know it was late enough we shut down the bar at the hotel, and then I got to my room, and next thing I knew, it was time for that damn show in Japan. So
You in California?
no, I'm in Texas, in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, yeah. Send it to
Yeah,
me.
so it was like basically a nap, and then but next thing I knew, the shows began. So,
All right, Jake. I think I ain't. Let me see. Oh yeah, I got your number.
yeah, I was gonna say I was weird that you asked that.
Yeah, I know I got your number. I didn't know if I say that. I'll just have people number in there and go through the text to realize who I'm talking to. But we are live. Also, we are live on YouTube simultaneously. I figured out how to
Oh,
do it.
okay, cool.
Um, so you're covering
The BAM show.
the BAM show
Yeah.
tonight. What's the atmosphere out there?
It's been tough because I got here very late. It was like 3:30 a.m. Thursday, so, and it's been raining ever since. Today's really the first sunny day. So, 'cause everything's taking place in the hotel. I will say when he walks into the hotel, like everyone stops him. They stop Joshua, So, he's loved out here, but we'll see tonight. It's the arena's not that big. I know they still got some tickets left. I think they're expecting it to sell out, but he's a nice little local draw. So, but it's not like everywhere you go, there's like pictures of Bam up.
Okay. What are you get any good interviews, inside info today?
I talked to Eddie a bit. Not sure, and obviously he told me, some stuff. Not much that's not already out there. Just the focal point on tonight is Bam winning. He said he wants to do the fight with Sonny Edwards next. He's convinced that he can bring it here to the U.S. He thinks that it would be a bigger fight than where tonight's event is taking place. He thinks he can do it in a bigger stadium, that Bam will grow that much more as a star. He told me this all the same stuff last year too, so he is staying consistent with that. I know it came up that Estrada's been talking a little bit of junk about Bam, that Bam even clapped back at, well, more so Robert, but then Bam even told me that he's like, I heard he was talking junk about me, so I like to shut him up. But the plan really seems to be flyweight, crowning an undisputed flyweight champion.
Yeah, that sounds like a better plan to myself.
Yeah,
to myself.
Exactly.
What's the plan with MJ on the undercard?
The good news for him for now, he will be out of mandatory. I don't know if that's going to change as this stuff lingers on. I have a story, obviously it hasn't posted yet, but so he's fighting Marlon Sapalis, who obviously is convinced he's going to shock the world like every other Sean Gibbons fighter. But with the win, MJ, like, he was pretty, I asked him, I didn't even ask him about fighting Fulton in a way. I just asked him about the fight itself, who he thought was going to win, what he thought about the matchup. And he's like, I'm not thinking about anything. He's like, I don't want to talk about that. He's like, I just want to talk about this fight. But he said, obviously I do want to be undisputed. And he made a point to mention that all he's fought is he's had a fight scheduled. It's been a mandatory title. So after this, the plan on his team would have to be the moment Fulton Inoue ends, go challenge the winner before another mandatory is ordered. That's really going to be the only shot at getting an undisputed champion. I know Eddie said in the past, he's only mentioned it one way, that if Inoue beats Fulton, he would love to do an undisputed fight. But I think we're going to see a push for it either way. Vadim seems to realize too, he has two guys that he would like to see become undisputed. So he can't make the push from Adramov to fight Charlo at some point and then kind of keep MJ away and not have MJ fight Fulton if he beats Inoue.
Do you know if there's a rematch clause for Inoue Fulton?
That I don't know that. I never got a straight answer on that.
Okay, interesting. And you mentioned Madrimal too.
Yeah, so he's on the before the bell portion. He's like the main event of the preliminary show. So before the main show goes on, yeah, he's fighting above the weight. Who's he fighting? Rafael Ibakwe, I think. I know he's a stablemate of Regis Prograis and Oshaki Foster. But yeah, it's technically a middleweight fight, but he wanted to do that to protect his WBA junior middleweight mandatory ranking. So, and he told me the same. He said he's waiting in line for Charlo, so he hadn't fought since the rematch with Michel Soro, which I think ended like in 3 rounds. So he wants to stay a lot more active. A lot of guys know in that gym, they just they have so few fights and they're just not getting out there. So they know they need to stay busy, because I don't know where the things are going to land in the rotation for Charlo. He's already stuck on, Zoo's already complaining that he can't get Charlo back in the ring fast enough. Now he wants to fight in June. So I don't know if that'll speed things up, if they're going to try to shove Fandor in there, if he wins tonight, or if Madrimov could wind up next if, Zoo in fact does come back in June and doesn't go straight to Charlo. So like I said, all these guys are just waiting for their shot.
Well,
hey, Lefty, real quick, no rematch clause for Fulton anyway. Okay. No rematch clause.
Well, he got to get it.
Yeah,
he got to show
right.
it.
Yeah, like I said, these guys just can't sit on their rankings. So that's all that's really been happening in 154. So, I mean, I applaud Zoo that he's finally, he's healed up. He realized that Charlo can't come back when on his terms here, but he doesn't want to, fight once a year waiting for that shot. So, it's talking quite a bit of junk about it. He's the reason why there's, everyone else is on hold, because his team went out of the way to, force their way to the top of the queue when the WBO was actually the last mandatory made it that way. But, that's not Zoo's problem. If he's got a sanctioning body telling him he's entitled to a shot, then, he's going to push for it. But.
And the reason he can't get Charlo in the ring, Charlo sent over his medicals to the WBO and they say he won't be ready to win.
So I know they were targeting July. I don't know if that's still the case, and Zoo just doesn't want to. I don't know why he wouldn't want to wait till July. He fought in March. I know he wants to stay active, but 4 months is not that long, especially in 2023. But I don't know if he just got word that he won't be ready by July. So he's been pretty adamant about June, and a name that's coming up for Zoo. I don't know if it's going to happen, but with all this talk of Ben Eubank possibly being resurrected, Liam Smith's name has come up as someone who could potentially face Tim Zoo next. Yeah.
So if he goes in June, that's just pushes the fight back even more.
Yeah, I would have to believe that if he's adamant about fighting at that time, he's of the belief that Jermell won't be available until after July.
Yeah. So, yeah. He wants to stay active, but I don't see the point in pushing that fight back.
Right.
And if he does fight in June, then the fight probably won't happen until October, or they will make Mel fight that other mandatory.
Well, I was gonna say if Mel is ready to come back before, I mean, he has to fight too. It's like he hasn't fought since last May, so if he's gonna be healed up, I can't imagine he's gonna want to go, any long. He's not gonna wait for Zoo to be ready. So, I mean, yeah, there's he has a lot of like I said, a lot of people waiting in queue for him. So. Yeah, so there'd be Bakram, or there'd be Mandramov, or there'd be Fundora. So, and Bakram is the one guy who's never available to fight anyone else. So.
Okay, well, or they could fight each other.
Right. Well, they've been trying to do that. I know Bakram's had, obviously, he's participating in Ramadan now, so that's completely understandable. But he was supposed to fight Zoo, but he was on vacation. He couldn't get in training camp in time. So there's always a reason why he can't do anything other than step aside and take a non-title fight. A non-TV fight. So he's like the one guy out of all of them that really needs the profile. So, I get he has main events and, all the old head media that, stands tall with them still, but that's not going to, all he really is a step aside guy right now. So.
What about the Charles Conwell fight for Madrigal?
I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard Conwell's name mentioned. So I've heard some false rumors, but that's about it.
There's also Brandon the Cannon out there.
Yeah.
Still waiting on this shot after the upset.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys, we are getting to a point. I think guys are realizing that, they're either going to have to just take a fight or just, sit out. But sadly, a lot of guys, I'm grateful for the guys that are willing to stay active. It seems like, we're getting back to guys fighting more than once a year, but there's still a large faction in the industry that is very comfortable just, waiting for that opportunity. So, we can name as many fights as we want. It's just, I'm not sure everyone is really on board with that yet.
I agree. What's the co-main for the fight tonight? It's
MJ and Tapalis. You're talking about for show? Okay, which show? Because there's 3 shows.
Yeah, the BAM show. What's the fight before?
There's Ray Ford and Jesse Magdaleno.
Oh yeah, Ray Ford and Jesse Magdaleno.
Yeah. So this one has been interesting. I don't know if it's a 50-50 fight. It seems like a fight where like Ford would be favored, but Jesse's like a very live underdog. But the opinions on this seem to be 50-50. But they're drastic. They're like Ford is going to school him. He's going to knock him out. Jesse's mentally weak. And then the other side is like, this is way too much too soon for Ford. Jesse's going to, just dog him out. He's like, the only one that beat him so far is, Isaac Dogday. It's hard to believe Jesse only has 1 loss for as much as he's been dismissed. But no one, I haven't talked to too many people who think it's going to be a close competitive fight. They either seem to think Ray Ford's going to school him and, win a wide decision or knock him out, or Jesse Magdaleno is going to, just spook him and upset him.
Well, hopefully it goes to this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's been the liveliest fight too. That had like the most chatter. I know like Matisse and Cesena, they've had a little bit to say about each other, but Jesse and Ford, they speak each other's language, so they've been able to talk clearer shit to one another. So they've been going at it pretty much all week though.
All right, the Showtime card, the return of Frank Sanchez.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fighting good old Daniel Martz. So that is one rough preliminary show. He's fighting Devin Alexander, got a shot, and I believe he missed weight for I think he's fighting Gabriel Maestre. So yeah, we heard that Frank was supposed to be on there. There was another fight that was supposed to be on that card that wound up falling off. I can't remember who. Chris Arreola is on that card. I mean, yeah, some very Chris, I think, was supposed to be on either like the YouTube portion, but I think his opponent just was even worse than Daniel Martz, so they just couldn't justify him being on that part of it.
Well, hopefully next they can fight each
other.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. But at least I get, because Frank just fought last October, I believe. So that's, I don't know where he is, and I know he wants the bigger fights than than what's coming back than people who are wanting to fight him. So at least he's getting back in the ring. The fight is not spectacular by any stretch, but if he's back by July or August, then that's a good thing. Just getting active, continuing to move up the rankings. So.
Yeah, there's a small portion of Frank Sanchez fans out
here.
I
believe I don't know. I think he does have a certain ceiling, but I do like him. So, and I like the fact that he does want to fight other the other guys, but I just don't feel like the feeling is mutual.
Yes, we need some movement in the lower half of the division. Yeah. Okay, speaking, we talked about 154 earlier. Mendoza versus the 154-pound Sebastian Fundora. What does he feel about what's going on with him in his title shot?
So, yeah, I mean, he's another. It seemed like Zoo Harrison seemed like that was the clearest shot. Like that was the official. Zoo was already the mandatory, but that was still like the winner was absolutely going to fight Charlo next. So, and then you would think that Fundora would be next. I know was Bakram has paperwork. He was supposed to get the shot even way before Zoo, but as we've seen, he's stepped aside, I think, already 4 times, and I could see him just continuing to do so because he hasn't had any. I don't even think the fight he won to become the mandatory was really all that meaningful. So, and he sure hasn't had any since then. But again, he's very comfortable in that. So if Fundora decides he's ready to go straight to the title, then I'm quite sure they'll find a way to appease Bakram. So I think it's going to be up to him and to Sampson, when they want to get their shot. Obviously, they're not going to get it before Zoo unless Charlo does decide he's going to come back in this period where Zoo takes another fight, and then Fundora could sneak in there. But I do expect him to win tonight, but he obviously still has to win. So I think he has a lot more life in him than Jason Rosario certainly had when Mendoza got to him last year. But I don't think it's going to be a complete walkover for him. Fundora always seems to find a way to find himself in a tougher than necessary fight.
That is absolutely true. So if Fundora wins, what's next for him?
Like I said, pretty much it's going to depend on Charlo's timetable if he can, if it can line up with Zoo or, if Fundora can sneak in there. So, and obviously I try to get a straight answer out of all the sanction about is they all seem to think they have the next shot in that rotation. So I know all the other 3 were furious when Zoo and the WBO jumped the line. So that's that has to be a discussion among them. So, but this is, I mean, Fundora's fighting Ocampo, he's fighting Mendoza. It's it seems like the well is going to dry up pretty quickly. Waiting for a title shot.
Yeah, or they could fight each other.
Yeah, but Fundora was the guy, to his credit. He was the guy willing to fight everyone to get to this point. I felt like his competition was tougher
than Zeus.
I felt like his competition. What's up? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. No, I felt like his competition was tougher getting to the the interim title than what's been the case since then. So I get it. I applaud him for staying busy, not just fighting once a year. He was never that type of guy. Even fighting twice a year, I'm sure it's frustrating for him. I'm sure he'd like to be more active than that. But yeah, I just don't know how many more of these fights how many more fights he's going to want, and how many times they can keep getting away with pushing these fights. Like this is fine because it's the second fight since the Lubin one, and he's obviously not getting Charlo right away. But if there is going to be a window where he can fight him next, that will have to be the expectation. I mean, we just can't have we can't get to a point where we're going to have 4 mandatory and interim champions waiting out Charlo.
That's true. And also the other card of the night, Shakur Stevenson versus Yoshino. With Jared Anderson, Keyshawn Davis on the undercard. Not Jahai Tucker. What's the one guy name?
Bruce Carrington.
Yeah, Bruce Carrington.
Troy Isley.
Yeah, Troy Isley. One thing I'm interested in is that heavyweight fight. Curtis Harper versus the guy whose name I can't pronounce.
Okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm not covering it. I have not paid attention to anything beyond the TV.
You just been paying attention to Japanese boxing?
Yes, exactly.
Was that card good?
I don't know if it was, sleep for an hour and a half, wake up at 2:00 in the morning good, but yeah. Oh, Damien. Okay, Damien. Yeah, Neva. I know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Polish heavyweight.
Yeah. What's the story of him? Is he supposed to be any good?
I think he's going to be someone that Top Rank could turn into a ticket seller. Obviously in that market too. They have a nice little turnout. I know Thomas Adamek, always, brought out the crowd in that area. Glavatsky to a much lesser degree, but I was at his fight when he won the title against Marco Huck, and like I said, it's he's someone that could sell tickets, so that's always a good thing for an undefeated heavyweight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jared Anderson and the Dominican dude, Arias.
Yeah, George Arias. Yeah.
How do you see that fight going?
I mean, everyone is very high on Jared Anderson. If you had to pick a heavyweight to put stock in, it would be him. So I'm not completely, Broadway Joel is obviously a much bigger expert on George Arias than I am. I'm always a little hesitant about any heavyweight who, really can't punch, and that could be dangerous against someone like Jared Anderson, who is eventually going to find you. So, and they're already talking about doing, turning. It's so hard to get opponents for Jared Anderson. You're going to have to elevate him to main event status just to, raise the price, just to get, the type of opposition that we expect of someone who is the future of the heavyweight division. So I think that'll be next for him. I'm not discounting, Arias by any shot, but I expect Jared Anderson to win, get a decent fight, but then win in spectacular fashion, and then come back and then, have his own headliner sometime this summer.
Oh, okay. So do you think who do you think he gets after this fight?
Well, I mean, like I said,
hopefully upper level competition, like who's out there for him?
I know, like, based on some, like, even like someone like Johnny Rice, like they couldn't get like in the ring. I don't know if it was just too soon, or he's gonna guys want a lot of money to fight, someone like Jared Anderson, who I'm not saying they're going in thinking they're going to get knocked out, but they know why they're being contacted to fight, Jared Anderson. So, they're gonna want to get paid very handsomely for it. So and he's not at that point yet where beating him, puts your name like, oh my God, I'm like the it guy at heavyweight, but this should help, by elevating his status. I do think Jared Anderson is ready for it. He's gonna have to learn to deal with the media a lot better than has been the case. But like I said, I'm very, very high on him. So
what you mean do with the media? What has he been doing? Because I've only seen good stories written about him.
No, I'm not saying that. It's just some people just need to be coached as far as like how to handle interviews. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Main event: Shakur versus Yoshino.
Mm-hmm.
Tough operator.
Yeah. Again, all we've heard about was the guys who didn't want to fight Shakur. I know. Look, everyone on here agrees. We all get tired of the boogeyman, narrative. But Yoshino was the guy who always wanted to fight him. So now I find it bizarre that like oh my God, he couldn't fight. Guys, they're trying to make it seem like they forced this guy. He voluntarily demanded this fight, and he's flown around the world. He could easily fought on any of the number of shows going on in Japan this month alone, including today's show. But he chose to he's pursuing greatness. So I've liked Yoshino. I don't Shakur is special, so obviously anyone he's going to fight, he's going to be a very big favorite. But I think this is going to be a tough fight for him. People say, oh, he's going to blow him out, knock him out early. That would probably be the one result that would shock me.
Yeah, you hear that, Ray? So don't send me no damn Shakur by KO parlay, because I'm keeping that money. Okay? You send me $100 bet with a Shakur by KO, I'm keeping that. I'm not even gonna put the bet in. No, but okay. After this for Shakur, who do you think is likely next for him?
Well, he took this, fight for. He was persistent about going the WBC mandatory route. I mean, Devin Haney's the undisputed champ. I know this is his last fight, but they do have at least a relationship with Top Rank to where if Shakur wanted that title fight next, it should be relatively easy to make. But he wants to be guaranteed a title shot after this. So I expect if Haney beats Lomachenko, I think either he would fight Shakur or it would be his last fight at the weight, and then Shakur would wind up fighting a vacant title.
Yeah, a vacant title against Raymond Murataya.
Yeah.
If he beats Nakatani.
I think that might be a little.
I mean, I'm sorry, not Nakatalia.
Yeah, Jeremiah Nakatia. Yep, the cop. One interesting thing is Isak Cruz is still very highly ranked. And actually, I did, talk to Sean Gibbons quite a bit. So he didn't give me all the details on what's going on with Cruz, but his timetable got pushed out. But he's another one where he's kind of waiting for, one of these titles to free up. So it's, a lot of these guys, that's the reason why they're not taking, the fights that have been offered. But he could wind up right back in the Shakur Stevenson mix. If it gets to the point where Haney does win and vacates the belts, then, someone like Isak Cruz would have his choice to fight Shakur Stevenson or fight Gustavo Lemos. Lemos would be perceivably, Lemos is a tough fight in and of itself, but the Shakur fight would pay a lot more. So, these guys are prize fighters. So I found it interesting that conversation did take place this week.
Who, the Gibbons?
Yeah, just around town. Like, they made a point to mention that, he's not completely out the WBC mix.
He should fight somebody. But speaking of upcoming fights, I see Boots has a fight running.
Locked in.
Yep. Locked in.
Yep. 31-0, 28 knockouts coming.
Main event or undercard, or what do you think?
And look, I mean, the last update I had that never panned out, but there was, once upon a time they were ready to announce. They thought it was going to be like, Spence Thurman was going to fight. They thought Jamal Charlo was going to headline a Juneteenth show, and Boots at the time was budgeted to be the co-feature of that show. So, I keep hearing, Romain Villa's name mentioned for Boots. It's almost like, the Spence Crawford talks. It's like, there's one side that's saying, yes, that fight's already a done deal. They're going to fight next. Another side saying there's no way in hell Villa is going to be allowed to fight Boots. Not that Villa is ducking him, but, his team is not going to allow him anywhere near Boots. So, I don't know how much good this, interim title is going to do Boots. I know that if, Spence vacates the titles, he becomes champ, but I think that's going to be his only benefit. I don't think it's going to be any easier for him to make fights, and especially if he is a co-feature, because you already have to pay him a lot of money, whether he's the co-feature or the main event. Never mind who he has to fight. Whoever he has to fight is going to demand a lot of money as well.
So he was supposed to fight on a Jamal Charlo undercard?
I don't know if that was just something that was like loosely suggested, and they had that, schedule in place for launch, like if that turned out to be the deal. But once upon a time, yeah, that was the talk. Interesting. So now, obviously, if Spence, whether he fights Thurman or he fights Terrence Crawford next, and it's not too far out. Although if it is Crawford, then it will be further out than everyone's speculating. It would make sense. If you have at least one of the two best welterweights in the world headlining a show, you would want Boots, who's I don't know where top 5 easy, maybe top 3, but you would want him on a show like that too.
So. What you mean if you fight Spence, it'd be further? If Crawford, if Earl fights Bud, it'd be further out than everybody's speculating.
That everyone is running with this June 17th date, but I mean even Steven Espinosa's on record saying that it's getting closer and closer to being unrealistic.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I know Ray wants to start this block party for me, and I got my banner dedicated to him as well. But it is what it is. I mean, look, we went through this last year. I'm not going through it again. So if they fight, great. I'm not going to sit here and talk down the fight, but I'm not diving down this rabbit hole again.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But
100%.
I mean, Alexis Rocha moved on from it. Rocha is convinced that Spence Crawford is next, and at least 2 sanctioning bodies are convinced that Spence and Crawford are fighting each other next. Out of those 3 entities I mentioned, at least 2 of them mentioned June 17th. And again, like I don't know if like just false information. I hope it's just people are intentionally putting out false information just to, get people to stop asking, because we're seeing like some very bad reporting on this. There's been people who have been convinced this fight has been done for more than a month.
Man, Jesus Christ. All I know is, look, Spence come back with Thurman. That's a letdown. And if Rocha has a fight, then
right.
Crawford
and look,
has nobody.
Terrence Crawford go do whatever he wants, but it is concerning that, like I said, with all these names mentioned, like who can he possibly fight? It's like God forbid he fights someone like Blair Hobbs next. But unless he, I don't know. I'm disappointed that it actually got let out that they were back in talk, Like I would, for those of us who were kind of checked out on, okay, Spence Crawford just isn't happening. I wasn't that disappointed that Spence was going to fight Keith Thurman. I didn't understand why it couldn't take place at welterweight, but I think the fact that this fight is now once again possible, that's going to be the big letdown. That if we get Spence Thurman instead.
When we heard it was going to be Thurman next, it was like, okay, understandable.
Right.
Crawford took having these understand. But man, you coming back 14 months and being spent. No, you could have been did that. You could have been fought Thurman.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have been fought Thurman. It's not no 14-month layoff. Then come back. Well, oh, it's Thurman. No, if we was gonna wait this long, we want Bud.
Right. I don't know. I just feel like this situation is almost like everyone got their hopes up because it does seem like it was going to happen last year up until, I mean, I don't blame everyone. Like they were at that point, like, okay, wow, this is really happening. And then it didn't. But now all of a sudden it's like, I know they're trying to do their best to keep as much, as possible, in secrecy, like, they have a show out there, Showtime has a card this weekend. Steven's going to be approached by media. So it's not like he can hide in his hotel room and not speak to people, but he can't. It's at the point. It's so much is out there that you can't get away with being vague either. But this is where we're at again. It's just I don't know. I just feel like it's being handled worse than it was last year.
I just don't understand why this fight is so hard to make. It isn't a $2 million pay-per-view selling fight. Maybe that's why it's so hard to make, because it isn't that big. You know what I'm saying?
There is a part of me that felt like, that they both. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna say this, but I guess everyone involved or whatever. Like maybe there was a certain number in place. Like even with Tank and Ryan, which in my opinion is the biggest fight on the calendar. In a non-piracy world, that does a huge pay-per-view number, but that is a concern. It's like so many people, are well versed in the art of stealing that it's a risk. It's like that's money out of Spence. Like if you think that's a million pay-per-view fight, that becomes a 600,000 pay-per-view fight. So that's a lot of money.
I always think the piracy shit is overrated because the piracy people ain't gonna buy the shit either way. Ain't no way that you sit down and say, I want to see Tank versus Ryan Garcia so bad I'm gonna take the risk of getting a fucked up stream and pirate it. No, if you want to see that fight, you're gonna pay for it. A fight people want to see, they are going to pay for it. Pirators, you can't. They're just not going to pay for it. Period. Like the shit that I pirate, I'll never have no intention of paying for it. Like it was one time I couldn't find a Golden Boy card, and I just didn't pay for it.
Right.
Even though it was only $20, it would only cost me $20 to subscribe to the zone. But it wouldn't. I just felt I'm just not going to pay for it. I just rather not watch it.
Okay.
I don't know. Especially when we see like Canelo can still do 800,000. Wilder Fury can do 800,000. They can still put up numbers when the fights are there. So, but okay. Anyway,
you're fine. Yeah. Oh, so someone who was it, Julio Arroyo, asked about that is one thing Eddie told me that they're and I got to meet with Vadim in a bit about Bivol. He is fighting June 17th, I believe, is the date, and they're working on that opponent. So Zanfer claimed that Munguia is not in the mix, that he's getting his own date. Eddie and Vadim, they didn't say that is who he's fighting next, but they believe his name is still in the conversation.
But Munguia, what is his date that he's getting next?
I don't know if he is getting a date. I haven't heard that he has one yet. So maybe he is going to fight June 10th, but I haven't. If Golden Boy is already going May 27th, I'm trying to remember the last time they've had two shows like that back to back. I mean, that's 2 weeks apart. So,
and who's possible for Bivol?
So Munguia's name is. They said there's a few names, but the only specific name that Eddie mentioned was, that Munguia was still in the conversation. But Vadim is supposed to give me a clearer update. When I run into him either later today or sometime tonight at the show.
Ask him about Marcus Brown. I think that's a good fight.
Okay. Oh, he's not ranked, and he hasn't fought and he hasn't won in a long time either. So I know there's ways to get guys ranked, but
yeah, you can get him in the rankings.
I think his last win was around this time 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and in the 8-round fight.
I mean, he's about as good as a choice as everything else out there.
Yeah, I agree, but that's I don't know. I mean, the WBA I think is trying to be a little bit conscious about Well, I'm very conscious. I should be about doing the right thing.
I mean, they could always pay that consultant agency that the WBA was using to get guys ranked.
Yeah.
What was it? $1,500.
Right.
Pay them and they'll lobby on your behalf to the WBA to get you ranked. So there, good $1,500 invested.
Yeah.
All right.
It is very, very slim pickings for him though. So he would have to get sadly, he's gonna have to get someone moving up in weight. Either that or just completely wait out Canelo and Ryder and then fight, Canelo in September. Or John Ryder if he somehow wins.
I know, right.
Not riding with Ryder.
It'll go the distance. I don't think he's gonna win.
No.
I know he's gonna win. Any other news we can use? Before we start taking the questions, if y'all have a question, request to speak, I'll let you up.
Yeah, that's been about it. I wanted to give an update on Virgil and Stanionis. I think I have something in place, but it's not. I just, that's a conversation I need to have with, someone key that's in town. But that it is definitely the plan to reschedule that fight. So.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
They're also giving back refunds.
Yes.
Check your email.
So Williams Zepeda, he's now headlining that show, and they give you the option. If you don't want to attend, you just have, I think, until April 14th to do a full refund. You have to submit to whatever link they supplied. And if you still want to attend the show, you can also apply for a 40% refund of the ticket you purchased to still keep that ticket. And then I don't know how that's going to work for when they reschedule, but it probably won't be at that venue anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, so I think that is why they're going through it. That was the holdup. It's like if they could reschedule the fight and then keep it at that venue, then promoters, the last thing they want to do is have to issue refunds. But now that they have another event going there, and the likelihood that they're not going back to that place for this fight, that's why they're able to do all this.
Okay. I saw some news. I didn't get a chance to read the story, but they released a Canelo Ryder undercard info.
It's been speculated out there. It's weird because Canelo's team is really driving it. Matchroom is, obviously they're in the Canelo business, but it's in Mexico, so it's Canelo's team is trying to take the lead, which has been it's gonna be an interesting promotion. Obviously he's gonna do very well, but all the fights that have been speculated, with the exception of Julio Cesar Martinez, his opponent is no longer McWilliams Arroyo. I was waiting to hear from Cotto's people.
It's not anymore.
They are not fighting into. He's fighting. What's his name? Ronald Batista, I believe. So that's the only real change. But Bolotnick is still fighting. Vazdik, who's making his. I think he's making his comeback. I don't know if he had a comeback.
Second fight. This would be a second
fight. Okay, so yes, I thought he did make a comeback. Okay, so it's the second fight, and then Steve Spark and Gabriel Valenzuela.
Hey, Vaznik will be a good fight for Bivol, later on this year.
Right. So that obviously not for June 17th, though. He's not coming back that quick.
That'll be a good fight. I'll enjoy that fight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Marcy.
How you doing, Jake? How you doing, Lefty?
Hey, Marcy.
You all right? I just wanted to ask. I think that on the DAZN card later on that they're announcing Edgar Blanca's next fight. Do you know who he's fighting?
I don't. I've heard two names, and opinions are very, very split on who he's fighting. It seems like there's one name that one side wants. They feel like it's a better fight for him, and then there's another one where they feel like it's a better name for him. But it will 100% be confirmed tonight. It's going to be June 24th in New York, and it's down to literally two opponents.
All right, and sorry.
Hold on. What card was that?
Edgar Berlanga.
Oh, okay.
And
yes, the second best monster in the sport.
Just had one more as well. Is Clarissa Shield signing with Eddie?
He did not tell me that.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Did you have something, Lex?
Yeah, I jumped in a bit late. Jake, what's good, man?
What's
I wanted to ask, did you touch down on the Regis thing or not so much?
As far as what goes?
Well, he announced he was a free agent on Twitter. I'm sure you saw it, but I don't know, what do you know what direction he's leaning towards, or?
I would have to. It almost seems like going to PBC would make sense, but with Jack Catterall signing with Matchroom, I kind of feel like that's where he's going to land. And I don't know why he didn't always go that route to begin with, because Matchroom does have, if he can't get Catterall right away, especially with Jack fighting in May, if Regis wants to get back in the ring, they can get him, they can throw someone at him, at least in the meantime, and keep him a little bit busy. But I do believe that's going to be the play, is that we're going to see Catterall and Prograis later this year, maybe September, October, whatever. So there's a part of me that expects him to sign with Matchroom, or at least work with Matchroom. But yeah, that was the part I never knew. Like, I knew there were certain guys who, like, once Probellum had to fold up shop and roll over to whatever this thing is, Disrupt Boxing. I don't know if he was part of that group. I just knew the guys that Richard Schaefer had were no longer bound to Probellum. Like, they were able to go free. I just didn't know of the other fighters who could. But it seems like, Regis is, fortunately free and clear of all that. Because if he got stuck with them, his career would be effed.
All right, y'all see up there at the top.
Let him try and change the topic real quick on me. Hey, Jake, man, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Lex.
Jake, did you see that tweet by Lex yesterday?
I'm looking at it right now. 83 is greater than.
Hey, don't look at it, man. Don't look at it. Don't look
at
it.
Make sure y'all go interact with that tweet.
Oh, man.
I'm retweeting the funniest responses. All right, go ahead, Trip.
Yeah, so my question is really a follow-up question to something Lex asked about. I just want clarification. Is it true that Connolly is advising or working with Regis now?
I don't know who Eddie spoke to when he said that. Connolly's in town, and that was not a comfortable conversation. Regis completely dismissed it. So I'm going to stay on that part of it.
Yeah,
Regis claims he is a true free agent.
That tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You got my number.
Oh, okay. So there might be some.
No, he's adamant that they're not working together. Regis like I said, Regis has now twice put it out there in a week that nobody can speak on his behalf.
Not even what's my man name? Begins with the K?
Nope, and he's here too. He's got two guys on tonight's show.
So he's not even with him anymore, supposedly?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. I see Broadway Joel down there. You remember what I said, Broadway? I said, I expect Regis to go to Matchroom. I expect Regis to always do the opposite of what he should do. What's up, Ray? Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I just want to clarify. When he says he's a free agent, he's referring to his management and promotion?
Everything. He's 100% free agent. He can sign with whoever he wants.
I see. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I expect Regis to sign with Don King to get the Adrian Broner fight. This is what I expect him to do. Okay, so for all y'all have your hopes up. Tis. Matt,
if Broner fought in February, I kind of would not mind that as a state. Like, if that's absolutely the fight that Adrian Broner wanted, I wouldn't have minded that as a stay busy fight for Regis. But there's no way that fight's happening in June.
MVO. I don't know. He must be asleep or passed out from hunger because he is fasting. Anything else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Questions? Going once, going twice? If not, we can filibuster for a minute. Try to put your show to at least an hour. Deontay Wilder, any news on him?
No, especially not since last week. No. There's no real update. I don't know. I don't know if the Ngannou thing is still the main option that he's going to get. I don't know if that was just smoke and mirrors, but the only thing I was told emphatically is that he's not fighting Andy Ruiz next.
Oh, okay. Because the last thing he said was that was possible.
Yeah, so what I was told is that whoever asked them, like, that, they just told him that to get rid of him. So.
No, okay.
But if he wants to fight, and if Andy decides that he wants to fight Deontay, then I don't know why that fight couldn't. I mean, I understand why that fight couldn't take place, but again, it's another fight. I guess it's very expensive. Someone has to pay for it, but he's back in the gym training for somebody. So.
Ruiz versus Usyk. Not Usyk. Ruiz versus Fury. Fury needs a fight. That wouldn't be a bad fight, would it?
No, it wouldn't. No, I said that. If we're not going to get the final eliminator, then just pick one of the two guys to fight Fury. And look, as great as the third fight was, we have seen Fury and Wilder 3 times already. maybe there's some of us who want to see it.
Well, the fourth time is going to end like Marquez Pacquiao. I'm telling y'all that right now.
Yeah, right. Of course, right. Yeah, you want to believe that at some point Deontay gets his payback, but why not? Yeah, give Ruiz a shot. Let him fight. I personally think it's an easy fight for Fury, but and he's obviously proven the world wrong once before. So
we're gonna see 2 times.
Yeah,
2 times.
Right.
Go ahead.
Hrgovic is still out there too. So
Hrgovic.
Yeah, I know he's got his all-star team now behind him. So that is one thing that was confirmed is that Connolly actually is with him. So.
With who? Hrgovic?
Yeah, he's part of his all-star team.
Put him in there with Jalolov. Jalolov ain't fighting a 14-year-old amateur. Put him there with Jalolov. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
Jalolov will beat him too. All right. Kind of Blue, go ahead.
Oh, what's up, Jake? I got 3 quick hitters. When will the Teofimo Josh Taylor fight be announced? And then any updates on Andre and Frank Martin?
No, on the last 2. Andre's name keeps coming up for if Benavidez doesn't wind up fighting David Morrell, then Andre, his name keeps coming up that he's in the mix for to fight either of those 2 or even Jamal Charlo, although I'm not gonna again, much like Spence Crawford, I'm not diving down the Charlo Andre rabbit hole yet. Top Rank should be announcing it soon. They've announced every other fight on their schedule. So that one should be coming up very, very soon. And they were adamant about getting that date because that blocked Matchroom's ability to put Edgar Blanca on. They obviously wanted to have him headline the night before the Puerto Rican Day Parade. So, Top Rank went out of the way to block that date for them. So they should be announcing it soon.
Why would they be petty about that? I mean, shit. Teal ain't Puerto Rican.
I know that, but a fight like that, I guess they feel it's a big date, but yeah, and they don't have the roster to fill up a card like that.
Won't they go put Xander on undercard?
Yeah, of course, but
Teal ain't Puerto Rican. I understand. Seems like pettiness, but
that's boxing.
So Taylor, absolutely 100% can enter the United States.
They, unless that's the reason why it has been announced, but when they made that fight, they were given every assurance that he can fly. But again, we've discussed it. If you are unsure, book a trip, quick vacation. Josh Taylor can certainly afford a plane ticket to the United States, especially a refundable one.
I want to say
Taylor's
he's in
America
Jersey
at the moment. Sorry for butting in. He's here. He's in America.
He is okay. So there we go. Then then there's no hold up on it. Okay, thank you, Marshy.
What about Sonny Edwards?
I was told he can come here. So
all right, I'm done. Don't get my hopes up. Then these niggas can't get in the country.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I haven't heard anything that's holding up Taylor Lopez other than the fact that Top Rank just hasn't announced it yet. So like I said, they've announced every other show up until May 27th. So they do have a certain process for announcing things. But
okay, go ahead, Trill.
All right, this is kind of a question for everybody on the panel. I'm sure Jake, Hans, or maybe even Marshy could answer this. What the hell is up with this nasal spray that has caused that guy to pop dirty and be issued a retroactive 2-year ban? And by that guy, I'm talking about Amir Khan.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what to make of that because he, unlike Billy Joe Saunders, like Khan actually had a bunch of clean tests and then that one negative. As far as I know, that one negative test. But I don't know what to make of any of that, to be honest. I don't understand how it takes so long for these drug tests to come out over there. They claim that they're superior to anything else, but I mentioned this on my ID boxing interview. The same thing. The same people. They took so long with Tyson Fury that he was able to cheat his way to a win over Christian Hammer to get to the to fight for the heavyweight championship, and then got his retroactive 2-year ban. So it's this kind of thing is just I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Khan said he retired anyway. He don't care.
Right. So yeah, the ban is silly. Like even just hear him try to explain the whole thing. I don't know if I believe. He claimed that he didn't find out until like months later. That part I have a little hard time believing. I was shocked when Ben Shalom said that he didn't know up until everyone reported it. That part really shocked me, and I'm not saying I don't believe him. He has no reason to lie about it. Well, maybe he has a little bit of reason, but I don't know. That one really, really shocked me that the board would go that that UCAB would go that length. But Yeah, like someone had to have found out, like once the test came up, because you have to have the chance to, to dispute it.
Facts. Yeah. Go ahead, A-Side.
Hey, what's going on, Jake?
What's up, A-Side?
Hey, speaking of kind of like the whole the sanctioning body thing, did the British board, did they ever say like, are they really still trying to block Conor from fighting in Saudi and all of that too?
Well, they
can't
do
they
anything.
said they blocked him. They just said,
no. It's more so Eubank. That's the issue, that they were gonna not allow Eubank, because he is licensed by the British boxing board and his trainer as well. Like they have to they're making it seem like they're the ones that have to get the boards and go do whatever he wants. But I know, like, there's also U.S. commissions that are saying that he can't fight over here. But there actually is a rumor that he was going to that he was supposed to be in Texas and he's going to try to apply for a license out here. And I said it last week too. If there was a big commission in the U.S., Texas is the one where almost anything goes. So I mean, they're not as bad as they used to be, but they were the first ones to allow fans in attendance during the pandemic. So.
But didn't the BBDOC say if they put on the fight, anybody involved in it could have their license revoked, meaning trainers, managers?
Right. So that affects Chris Eubank. That affects Tony Sims. So that's a big risk, but doing that fight. But most people involved, they again, like especially Manny Pacquiao thought he was getting the Conor Ben fight. Anyone who's not getting that fight seems to believe that it's going to be Ben Eubank next.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, just wanted to say I am here in Jersey, and I did see Josh Taylor, coming to see him down here actually, and I got a chance to talk to him on a fight tonight. Just wanted to put that up.
Cool.
Cool.
Two exclusives in one. Josh Taylor's here, and they're announcing the fight tonight. No, excuse me. Go ahead, Keepy.
What's going on, Jake? What's going on, Lefty? Oh, so
good.
So question, Jake, has Dubois been like officially cleared? Because I see he got ordered, but I'm like, he tore his ACL in December. It's only been 4 months. There's no way he's ready at any time. That's a really, really short recovery time. Like,
yeah, what I was told was that he, the WBA required that he submit his medicals. He complied with that. He was well within the deadline. But then they had to get the British Boxing Board of Control to certify those the medical records, which they did. They said they verified that they were legit, and that triggered the WBA to order the title consolidation fight. They wouldn't have done it if Dubois wasn't medically cleared. So it could be a case where they just exaggerated the injury up front, that maybe they just used the wrong terminology, but it seemed pretty specific that they didn't expect him to come back until like June or July. So. That this is a very big fight, to come back. Like if you're spending all that time healing up from an injury, then that doesn't, I don't know, it's a big risk, but, they pushed their way to the top of the line in a hurry. So they, nothing medically is stopping that fight from happening. So.
All right, thanks.
And how long do they have before they have to purse bid?
They ordered the fight, April. It should be the end of the month, I believe.
It seems like Turbiev versus Smith is going to purse bid.
So actually, to have a minor update on that, I believe that is going to be extended. The only issue there is they both Top Rank wants to do the fight in Canada, Matchroom wants to do the fight in Liverpool, but at least on Eddie's side, he thinks that there could be common. He said he's been a Top Rank at that, throwing, Tyson Fury. But he's had a lot of conversations with the Top Rank team, and that is that they've been discussing. So I do believe that deadline will get extended. Unless Top Rank just decides, well, screw you, we want to fight in Canada, but, a purse bid can decide it. So.
All right, Broadway, you got something?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody in the chat know that Hans is black. I did meet him. I know that was in question one time, but I met him in person. He is black.
Only person that questioned
Yeah,
that
I can verify.
MVO.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Fucking appreciate it. God damn. Thank you, brother. Shit.
That was his MVO with his, like, me questioning him faster. But now, Broadway, tell us about your boy tonight, the Dominican heavyweight.
All right, I'll talk about my Dominican heavyweight as long as I'm able to talk about my Dominican featherweight that's fighting today.
Ooh, you pushing it.
A lot of people are saying the Dominican heavyweight they're not sure about.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Jared Anderson's a heavy favorite, as he should. He is 5 inches taller and outweighs him by 15 pounds. Also, Arias has had a history of getting tired late down fights. So just again, Jared Anderson's a heavy favorite for a reason. Things are how people talking about this fight is pretty correct. But one thing I will say is Jared Anderson's last 5 fights have all ended by second round knockout. This fight is not going to end that early. I believe the over under is 4.5. I would say bet the over. That would be my educated guess. But yes, I do think this is the toughest fight of Jared Anderson's career. But to be fair, that's not really saying much. His competition hasn't been that strong. And as far as on Showtime, opening that fight is Luis Nunez. He will be fighting Christian Olivo Bardera. This is a clash of 2 undefeated featherweights. This will be the 4th undefeated fighter in his last 5 fights that Luis Nunez has, fought. So he's clearly on the fast track. He's currently ranked number 4 in the WBA. This fight is for the IBF Latinos. So the winner of this fight will also be ranked in the IBF rankings. And I'm telling you guys, this will steal the show. Nunez is a really, really aggressive, come forward fighter, and so is Olivo. So this fight is going to be fireworks. This is really probably everybody's talking about how this is a stacked day of cards and DAZN and ESPN and Showtime. This may be the fight of the night, including all cards. And I'm not just saying that because he's Dominican, just the style matchup. And again, they're 2 hungry, undefeated fighters in their early 20s facing each other. So
Broadway, you got to remind everybody that Nunez was formerly known as the Twist. So he's dropped the Twist and became known as the Hammer, right? If I'm not mistaken, is the translation of that nickname?
Correct. Yes, the translation of his new nickname is the Hammer El Martillo. So he's changed it. He was known as the Twist, but I interviewed him yesterday. Actually, it was kind of last minute. He told me that the nickname, the Twist, was given to him. He didn't really know what the Twist meant, but that, his promoters were saying that, that it's a good look for him. And now that he has a few more fights and a few much more say in his career, he's changed it to El Martillo, which is translated to the Hammer, which is because of his style, his aggressive style. And you'll see how aggressive he is when you guys see him fight tonight.
Yeah. He had a really good fight last year on the, I was ringside for it when Benavidez, David Lemieux on the card. He beat who did he beat? Jonathan Fierro, I believe.
Yeah,
that was a really good fight. So I just want to see how Samson going to dance to the Hammer, though.
Oh, he's another Samson fighter. Look, we got a question from the YouTube that says, Jake, will you be ringside in Memphis April 29th?
No.
The fight between Jamalus and the Hungarian Hammer Istvan Bernath.
No, hell no.
That was from Tim Boxell.
Oh, okay. Well, if Tim will be there, then I'll meet him up there.
Right,
I don't even go to those random shows in Nashville. I'm not driving 3 hours with some bullshit like that.
Hey, you can get some barbecue.
I can get barbecue in Nashville.
All right, go ahead, ASAP.
Hey, what's going on again? Hey Hans, I'm on the way up to Jersey, so when I get there, I'll link with you, bro. And hey Jake, did they ever come with the new date for Butayev and Kavalauskas? Is that even still a fight? Like, what's up with that? I was kind of interested.
I've asked about that. I've not given any clear answer on it. I don't know.
Damn. Okay.
It was supposed to happen tonight. As far that was the original plan. So actually, I'll put that on the
Minneapolis card in June. The video on that Minneapolis card.
Yeah. So that is so I meant to ask Vadim when I saw him that the other day, and it slipped my mind. So I will bring that up.
All right.
Even be guys from that stable.
All right, go ahead, Hans.
A side, we're definitely gonna link when you come down. also wanted to say that Luis Nunez, like he trained with Andre Rozier, so I watch him in the gym all the time, and he's really, really good. Just to kind of back the other people that were saying that, he spars Chris Colbert all the time. He's really, really good. And quietly, Daniel Jacobs has been, getting back into like the training flow thing. I'm not really sure who he's gonna fight yet, but he has been, hitting the rough, you say. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was speculating that he was going to fight Charlo. A few people with DM that speaking it into existence. The fact that Charlo might be fighting later than those rumors, if they are true.
Boy, gonna be your ass nonstop if that fight happens. This irritating ass.
I'm gonna pin down Connolly and try to get an update on that as well. So since he wouldn't give me the Belanga.
What weight would that fight be if it were to
happen? Yeah, I mean clearly above middleweight. So.
Yo, and he's gonna be able to keep it.
I mean, maybe Charlo could be incentivized. I mean, not Charlo. Jacobs could be incentivized enough. I don't know how he would get down to 160. I don't think he could safely make it anymore. But he's been out a long time. Maybe he's doing the right things to where he can make that weight.
No, but my thing is
I know where you're going with this. I know.
Oh my God! You know what? I'll leave.
But look, Charlo. For now, Charlo is on record saying that his plan was to defend his title next. So that, as far as we know, that is his plan.
Jake, you should have just pled the fifth. Now you got this nigga started.
I know. Hey, Adamas.
I keep telling y'all. All
right. But let me ask this though: who is
to these goddamn sanction bodies and expect them to do the right thing when they always gonna do the money thing?
Yeah. But if Adamas is getting screwed, let me ask this: if Adamas is getting screwed, who is actually speaking up on his behalf besides Broadway Joel?
I was gonna say,
who on his team has been speaking up for him?
He doesn't. He doesn't have a promoter, right? I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's pretty dangerous.
Samson?
I don't have an answer to that question, man. But
that's pretty dangerous.
Boxing, my job is to make people uncomfortable.
I hear you.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I could keep fighting for these guys too, but like I said, when you're screaming for a fight and all of you are under the same umbrella, I mean that's you put yourself in that position.
Yep. Talk to Jose Suleiman. Get an interview with him, bro.
You mean Mauricio? Yeah.
Yeah, Mauricio. Yeah.
I don't think Jose's around for interview.
Yeah, Mauricio. Get an interview with him.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. So
I got some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah. Well, you can pass along to Tim Boxeo. I am not attending this 16 fight show on April 29th in Memphis. Where very few of the guys actually have a winning record.
Sometimes those be the best shows.
No, not. I've been enough to those bad Memphis shows. I know Kevin Newman is on that.
It'd be hilarious, actually.
Yeah. Those shows seem to land a lot of guys who either are with Mayweather Promotions or used to be with Mayweather Promotions. So I don't know what the connection is there. I don't know if that's just Floyd's connection with a promoter out there. But...
What about you talked to your boy Caleb Plant?
No, I have not talked to him since that loss. So.
Okay. All right. If we don't have any more questions from the chat or from YouTube, we can wrap this up. You got any final thoughts?
No, just a very, very busy day of boxing. So hope everybody enjoys it.
What card starts first tonight?
I would have to believe the DAZN because Showtime starts at 10. I mean, unless you're gonna watch a card fight, I do know the show out here starts 5:15 Eastern, 4:15 locally. So if you're watching every single fight on these shows, then this one would go first. And the main card goes first. The main card starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. That's the thing I actually do like about, if you want to subscribe to DAZN, the one benefit is that your night ends early. But, the top ranked show that they always start at 10 o'clock. That's a set time. Whenever it's on ESPN, 10 o'clock is the main show. But it's a triple header, so you could be looking at a midnight start time for Shakur Stevenson. And the Showtime card is 10 p.m. Eastern as well, and that's also a triple header.
All right. So if any are smart, y'all would have got Lefty Fix where you can watch two at the same. Matter of fact, you can watch all three at the same time, up to 4 screens at once. So hit me up.
I have to imagine everyone on this chat at least has 2 of those 3 services. So And the only conflict should be Showtime and ESPN. I mean, the Zone show could be completely done by the time either main event starts.
That's true. All right. Anybody got anything to plug?
Yes, sir. Please, everybody on the chat, go over to my page, click the link in the bio, subscribe to A-Side Boxing Talk. Be in the building, man. Appreciate Lefty the boss, man.
Yeah. Y'all know me. I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. Definitely go subscribe to my channel. I will be interviewing Joan Guzman either this week or next week. We still working out logistics, but Joan Guzman will be on my channel. So make sure y'all check that out.
Very cool.
Hans? Hans? You got any fight hype interviews?
Something with Josh Taylor should be coming up. Something with Yoshino should be coming up. For some reason, he's really confident he's going to knock Shakur out. I really doubt it.
What, a headbutt? With a headbutt?
I should have asked him that.
I keep bringing this up. That's how the nigga keep winning, by headbutting people.
Yeah, yeah, man. Dude sounded really confident, man. But I don't know what he's talking about. But he said he's gonna take care of business. So yeah, got those 2 interviews up, and yeah, I will be there tonight. Terrence Crawford is down here. I spoke to him a little bit. He's a little tough to get an interview with, but he shows me a lot of love, and I'm hoping I'll be able to probably grab him later on tonight. So we'll see how that goes.
All you do when you interview him, put Ray on the phone so he can say, "Sign the contract."
I'm good off that, brother.
Ty, you joining? You have something?
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Jake, what's up, my man Danny Garcia?
No, damn, I did hear a name for him, but it slipped my mind. But I don't have any update on him up until we see what shakes out with Lara and Zarafa, which that's a fight that seems all but destined to go to a purse bid. So I think once we get a firm update on that, then we'll know what's going on with Danny. Yeah, I do know that fight and the WBA ordering Hector Garcia and Lamont Rose not pleased at least TGB, all of these, but there were a few fights that were ordered.
All right. True.
Yeah.
I just want to make a public service announcement. Stop eating oxtails. Oxtails are dangerous. We must stop oxtail price inflation.
All right, Hans.
Yo, Troy, you yourself with that one, brother. I'm about to get some oxtail right now, so you're tripping.
Shh, don't say it too loud, man. Got that bring the prices down.
But no, I was just gonna say I have a Tucker probably dropping on boxing scene this week. Went down to go him after the great one though. So yeah, that kid is extremely confident. So yeah, that should be coming up too.
Yeah, as he should be.
For sure.
Yeah.
He showed his ass last week.
Honestly, I must have missed something because I thought he really proved himself last week. I got so much hate mail on the story I wrote. There were people who were dead set convinced that Jahai Tucker got a gift win. I'm like, what the heck did I watch?
They saw one round where he was hurt and took that the whole fight. Jahai Tucker dogged that shit out and came out on top.
Yeah, but of all the fights on that card, that's the one that really triggered a lot of negative responses. So I don't know.
That's the Xander protection crew already forming.
That could be.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but I love his mentality though, man. Like I said, he called out Xander. He got Xander's sparring partner, and he proved himself in that fight. So he does have to calm down a little bit, though. I mean, his dad was literally pulling at him, saying
Man, he knew what he was up against. He was emotional, man.
I get it.
Fighting for his career that night.
Yeah, if that's what makes you, if that's what makes you click, then so be it. God bless them. But, they're gonna have to figure that out in the corner though, because there were a lot of voices in the corner that night.
Man, he said, "It's me. I'm taking control of my destiny tonight." And he did it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Jake, you got that response because they don't want that Xander fight. That's why you got that response.
I guess. But, yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, my bad. Hey, Jake, Ugas ain't held up yet.
Ugas. I thought he was supposed to be fighting Barrios next.
Oh, so that is set in stone? Okay.
Yeah, for the end.
I know that was fine.
It's implied. I mean, the WBC did confirm that they're all going to be fighting some titles. So.
All right, y'all know when y'all start eating, I'm trying to wrap this shit up. So ain't nobody else coming in.
Last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Mm-hmm.
All right. Lefty, we're gonna have to start blocking Fred.
What if Fred?
I enjoy my back and forth with him, but I mean, just some of the shit he says on Twitter. There's a couple of people that tend to take him a little too seriously. So.
Yeah, y'all know.